division. He has took us back-to-back 12-5 seasons. You know what I mean? He has winning records above. You can say what you want about the past 7 years, but on our division, he has been owning it for years.
Are you a Dak rider or are you a Dak hater?
Before he broke his finger, I was a rider. Now, nah. They need to let him go now.
You know Dak Prescott's watching this right now, right? Actually follows the Can Fan podcast.
Let's
Go!
Let's go, baby! Cowboys Nation, son! Let's go! Cowboys Nation represents! Cowboys Nation represents! Let's go!
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. All day, every day.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, Seattle.
Here we are at Lumen Field. And is that a Harry Potter reference? Maybe. I don't know. I've casted a lot of Lumen spells.
Lumen videos.
We want to see Deuce represent. We want to see him repeat. I want them repeats. And I don't need 3 beats if they repeat.
I don't need 3 beats.
I don't need
if
3
they
beats.
repeat.
If they repeat. Let's go.
You don't think we're gonna make the postseason?
Maybe wild card.
So this is
Maybe wild card.
This is where I'm like, I'm good for a good ribbing, but like to say we're not gonna make the postseason, now I can't even argue with you. Because you've sucked. Oh God.
You know it too. You know it.
Who's your quarterback?
Okay, we got it.
This is our year.
Look at those beers. Look at those beers. Look at those beers. Look at those beers.
Let's go! Let's go, Cowboys! Let's go, baby! Cowboys Nation showing up!
Most pristine athletes in modern history playing in the NFL. Even the offensive linemen are incredibly athletic. I mean, these guys are over 300 pounds, and you know they can
Not only the size, but the speed of the linemen? Are you kidding
fly
me?
on the field.
You're telling me a guy that's Crack 'em if you got 'em, baby. The inmates are running the penitentiary, baby.
We want 500 cheeseburgers if you want control of the ship.
We want
Adam.
all them burgers, Ad. You leave, we don't know if we're ever gonna give up control again. With AJ and myself in here, look at all the power we have here right now. If I want to switch to a camera that's not even on, to nobody, I'll just switch to a camera. Look at that. That's Ad over there.
Ghost zone, yeah.
Cucking in the corner.
Keep that cock out of here.
Did we get a crack? I don't even know if I said crack him if you got him in that one.
Pretty
did I?
sure we did. But
Alrighty.
just for shits and giggles, crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
And welcome to the Wednesday night main event, Cowboys Can Fan Show. As you can see, we are missing one of the, actually, a very integral part of this show, our producer, Adam. So AJ and I just spent the last, 15 minutes kind of troubleshooting. We had a little bit of issues going in, but we righted the ship and we got it down, and it felt like a mini victory. And now we're here with Chat. Chat, we love to have you guys here. We appreciate you guys stopping in on your Wednesday night. And we're going to just have a wild ride, drink some crackums, and get naked.
Now, are you going to do any adjustments before we start?
What do you mean?
Well, because Adam always...
Oh, Ad always gets...
he always gets up about it at this point and he does something.
Always. Does it throw you off a bit?
No, because if he didn't, I'd be like...
Now
I'd
it's just
probably
part...
get
Yeah,
snapped
now
out.
it's like, wow, something's wrong with the universe. Ad hasn't gotten up to, to fix anything.
I bet you on the flight, he just got up to go to the washroom.
He did. He's like, oh, I gotta pee.
move. I gotta do
And
something.
that's actually a good segue. Adam is right now. He's flying to Japan. He is on. He's First OOO person we've had since you've been back, AJ.
That's right.
So pretty good. Adam's flying to Japan. He will not be here for the next 3 shows. So Alex and I will be your hosts.
Is it 3 shows? This one Sunday and next Wednesday.
This one Sunday and next Wednesday. Yeah,
So-
and then he'll be back for the 23rd. The show on the 23rd.
That's right. And on the 22nd, a little behind baseball, we got our first, maybe an annual thing. We all used to play lacrosse in the Chilliwack Minor Lacrosse League, the CML, baby. Or
Is that what it's called?
no, I think it's something else, but that's what I'm calling it. But yeah, so we're getting the gloves back on. We're gonna go play a game.
We're doing
If we're not doing a show on Sunday the 23rd, it's because one of us,
None of us can't get out of bed.
Yeah, our knees are sore. We need to ice them, something like that. So
AJ, what do we got on the docket tonight, my friend?
well, today we got a few things to go through, but I think we're gonna start off with kind of the favorite article that we agreed on. That was 3 Dallas Cowboys entering a make or break year. And there might be more, but we're going to talk about the 3 on this list, and then we can go into who else.
See if there's anyone that tickles our fancy after that.
And I'm just going to do a quick thing here before we do that. I'm going to open up chat, and I'm going to have that open because, look, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah, I don't know how to get the chat thing up.
It's okay. We can both just keep an eye on it.
I can see chat up there. We got Cowboys Cave. Let's go. We also got Riley Goodwin. Let's go Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys Chris, who we do have a box from, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we got to do
I got
that.
it underneath the seat, so we will do that. We got
Awesome.
a gift box from Cowboys Chris's Man Cave that had to sadly get taken down because he's moving across over to the West Coast. We also got Ultra slanging it in there, and Rolando Rodriguez, Cowboys Can fan, what's up from South Texas with the emojis? Cheers, crack 'em if you got 'em.
Crack
Go
'em if you got 'em.
Cowboys, baby.
And Ultra says AJ has the Pride Month beer holder. This is actually the Saved by the Bell. It's like 90s.
FYI, that was purchased in Texas.
I was purchased in
If
Texas.
that gives
if
it any more
matters.
street cred, I don't know.
Chris is on.
You want to do the box?
Let's do the box.
Okay, let's do the box.
Then, because I know that's what he's here.
Yeah,
he
let's do
wants
the
to
box.
see us open the box. So we're
Let's
gonna
do
open
the
the box.
So this is, give an intro for what it is, AJ.
So we've had the pleasure of having Big Chris come and stay up last season during the Buffalo Bills game.
Yeah.
Was it Buffalo Bills? Was an
Slaughter.
awesome time. He left us, and unfortunately, it's in the dark right now. But it's always shining bright. He left us that I don't know. It's on the couch somewhere over there in the darkness. But he left us the championship belt, which such an amazing gift. He also gave Adam's youngest a really cool chain. Such a great guy. And upon his move, I don't know if he told anyone or the box just showed up, but he sent us a care package.
I think Ad knew it was on. Ad knew it was
He
coming.
kept it quiet from us. Then
Yeah,
maybe.
kept it quiet from us because Ad kind of told us, "Oh yeah, hey, there's a package." All right,
Well, let's just go through this.
Let's
is
get
just,
into the
this
goodie
is
bag
from
here.
Big Chris. It's a conversations with Chris. He's got a different handle on different social media, but
go follow him.
yeah, Cowboys Chris. Thank
So first up,
you. Ooh,
Dallas Cowboys penis pillow. That's
just
for
a-
when you lay down. You put that beside you,
Yep.
and you just flop your wiener on it, and it's a
Yes.
nice penis pillow.
So you have a
Chris,
matching
Did Chris,
big-
did Chris use it?
No.
No, not used.
Oh, Chris, you think this is a dwarf for Chris?
So that is, what is that though? A beanbag?
I think it's just it's going to be perfect to add to our
Ooh,
counter a trinket.
Yeah,
trinkets.
it's
a
gonna be
little
nice
thing.
in the corner.
Actually, if we had some sort of ring or something, that it would sit
yeah,
on there.
that would be good.
Thank you, Chris. That's
This
awesome.
is a prized possession right here.
Oh,
America's team.
America's team. A little curve. We'll get that straightened out.
That is good. I like
Donor rep
that.
it. That's awesome.
You know I'm going to be rocking that during game time.
When we need to power up the offense or defense. Yeah. That's
Okay,
great.
that is sweet. I've always wanted a foam finger. Pointing up. Oh, these are good. These are good here. You can never have too many of these bad boys right
Oh
here.
my goodness.
Look
Look
at that. Look at that man cave.
Here.
That's sweet. Man
Man
cave.
cave.
That I like that. We'll have to find a nice spot for that.
It can hang here. I mean, look, we're definitely gonna have to wait till Ad gets home before we make a
Ad
decision.
is not only the producer of the show, he's also the interior
Set design.
decorator and set designer. And I like these, man.
Yeah, these are nice.
Those are sick.
This
These
one's
vertical
great.
banners. The vertical banners are really going to bring everything into. They're just going to tie the room together.
Tie the room together. So this one has it's got all the different logo designs over since the 1960s.
Oh man,
so.
I look at the 60s one,
cool.
the white helmet.
Yeah.
That's my fave.
Yeah.
Okay, next up. Oh yeah, this is a good flag right there.
Look at that. The Super Bowl champions. Grab the top of that there. Super Bowl champions banner, all 5 seasons, 71, 77, 92, 93, 95.
I can't wait till we have to stencil up 2024.
Yeah.
Let's
bring it in. We'll get it sewn right on.
This is a good one. That is a centerpiece to a room.
Solid.
And not to be left out, a very trusty moving box.
A very trusty moving box.
You never pulparine dots. Do you know what that is? That must be an American thing.
Pulparine dots.
What is that with real fruit?
Of Parmindo natural. Oh yeah, it's like a Spanish. Probably
just a good box.
You know, I don't know what it is, but it's
a great box for
written in
moving.
Spanish. Thank you,
Chris.
Big Chris. Thank you
I guess
so
I could have
much.
put all that stuff back in the box.
I'll just put it down here.
Chris, we appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure. We had some only short-lived, but we had a few very good years at the Man Cave. We had a couple good parties there. You barbecued. We met a lot of cool guys down there from all over the world. Appreciate that, man. We're glad that it can live on in the Cowboys Can Fan studio.
And we're excited that you're a West Coast boy with us now. So
hey, he's on the side with us because he's gonna meet up with us when we travel down to San Fran.
Woo!
All right, AJ, let's do this whole thing here. So 3 Dallas Cowboys entering a make or break year in 2024. I mean, they have a picture of Sam Williams right off the get-go. I imagine he's going to be in the article, and I agree with that.
And this is an article by the Landry had, and Randy Gurzy, who I think we've only had him on once. We were in talks to get him on during the draft, but of course Landry was busy doing their things. He wasn't able to make us, but he did give us his blessing. So we appreciate that work that you do, Randy. We're going to read your article and we're going to critique it extremely hard.
Yeah,
we're just looking at grammar on this one.
Yes, that's it. We're redlining everything we can. That's all we're trying to do.
Did you read this?
I didn't. I wanted to be surprised. Did you read it?
I did. But,
okay.
Just because I did make sure that it was legitimate.
Yep.
Give me your 3 players who you think are on the list.
Okay.
Then afterwards we'll talk about anyone who we think should be on this list.
It's kind of a giveaway with the Sam Williams picture. It'd be funny if they just had a picture of him and then he wasn't in the article. But I'm going to go Sam Williams with one, which is makes sense. Year three of his rookie contract.
Yep.
It's kind of the shit or get off the pot section of your career.
He's getting his biggest opportunity this year.
Has to produce.
Since his rookie season.
Has to produce. So Sam Williams, I imagine, is going to be on there. I feel like Jalen Tolbert should be on there. This is kind of a Tolby. Are you that guy or you aren't that guy? And this might not seem like it. This might not be a favorable one, but maybe Terrence Steele for me. Because if he has a shitty year, like he needs to prove they paid him a lot of money. He had his one mulligan year with the injury.
Yeah.
It's kind of produce or we're going to move on to save some cash.
That's a good one. I like that.
But I imagine it might be all guys on their rookie contracts, but I feel like the Steele one would be a good one.
Yeah, and you don't really think about make or break year after someone's got out of that rookie contract, so that's a good pick, and I tend to agree. But let's see what Randy Gurzy has on the list here.
Shout out,
Randy Gers, LandryHat.com. We are technically we're the official podcast of this website too.
But we say bad words.
We say bad words.
Oh,
there he is, Jalen Tolbert, and I don't think anyone can disagree. I'll give a quick summary of what he has to say. When the Cowboys quit force-feeding Michael Gallup last season, the offense improved. Jalen Tolbert was a big part of that, and he proved more reliable than Gallup. While he had just 2 catches as a rookie, the South Alabama product had 22 catches and 268 yards and 2 touchdowns in his second season. Tolbert enters a critical third season with more pressures on his shoulder than ever. With Gallup released, Tolbert moves in as the de facto number 3 behind Lamb and Cooks, and he could face competition in the form of Turpin, but Tolbert is more well-rounded player on offense. And also, don't sleep on Flournoy. If he wants to continue to have a starring role, he needs to rise to the challenge. Dallas has plenty of weapons, but they need their third wideout to take advantage of defenses focusing too heavily on Lamb and Cooks. If Tolbert can do this, they should be just fine. And if not, their passing attack could be an issue, especially since their running game could be a nightmare. Oh, he jabs you when
He did it. He jabbed him.
double jabs you at the end there.
AJ, I got to jump to this message. Pack Attack with the $4.99
Heyo.
super chat just saying what's up. And guys, I want to preface this. Adam's usually the producer. He's usually getting chat up on the screen. Forgive me for not doing that. I will be on it for the Sunday show. I will figure that out to get your guys' comments up on the screen. Pack Attack, we appreciate it. And we appreciate everybody that's up in chat. We know you guys are bumping, and it's always, we got through, Bought G's up in there.
Bought
Kilo C's in the house.
Kilo.
We got Travis O'Shea. Like, we got a good crew in the chat tonight, guys. A couple OGs up in there. I love to see it. But AJ, back to Jalen Tolbert, the wide receiver at the 3 spot of basically get it done or get out. Do you have anything other, like, opposing to that?
No, I mean, when he's been given the opportunity, he has performed really well. He had a big drop that I think stands out on his resume last season. I think it was like was it a third down? Can't remember exactly. But there's a blemish there. But CeeDee Lamb also has had drops, but when he turned it on, you just forget about that. So same thing with Tolbert here. He's in a great position nothing is stopping him. He has pretty much a clear runway to be that number 3 wide receiver overall. Competition is good. And if he can't deliver in preseason, then I think we know who Jalen Tolbert is.
Yep.
And that can be fine. He could still have a spot on this roster, but we definitely know that he is not a solid number 3. And when you think about the top 3 for the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb, obviously, Sedarius, top wide receiver, number 3 on most people's books, even if they don't like him, right?
Has to be.
Default
3.
Default 3.
Higher, I say higher, but default 3.
Me too. But like, I'm just playing it safe. Cooks is probably somewhere on the lower tier of a number 2 wide receiver in the NFL. Let's be honest, right? Jalen Tolbert, unproven number 3, high hopes. So when you think about it, the Cowboys wide receiver room, obviously CeeDee Lamb, a rising tide raises all ships. He pulls everyone up out of that cloud, and you can see from Dak Prescott's play last year, he had such a good season, right? But
I thought I saw the I saw this canceled, but it's video capture. I thought we were on mute the whole time. Sorry, I just had a panic.
Someone would have told us.
I know.
Okay,
I just had a panic.
I saw you panic. I was like,
you could see that.
I was like, I'm losing him.
Oh, sorry.
Long story.
Turbulence.
Long story short, Tolbert, if he can come in and show that, yes, he's a solid top half of the tiers of wide receivers in the NFL, it's really going to make our receiver room
make him click.
Great. If he isn't, and he's an underperformer, kind of like Cooks, and I think Cooks can improve with his second year here with Dak, but if he doesn't and he plays the same, we kind of have a really weak wide receiver room, to be honest, even with Tolbert showing up.
He needs to be better than Gallup. And interesting enough, like, what for you would be a good stat line for him? Like, what would constitute a successful season for Jalen Tolbert, stat line wise?
So he went from just 2 receptions year 1, then he got 22 catches year 2 for 268.
Stat boy, fucking just.
I'm just reading off the paper though. That's not a memory thing.
Oh, what paper?
The
the
digital
article.
paper, the article paper.
You can't say that. You're supposed to.
I know. I'm sorry.
I was like, shit. Yeah, stat boy's putting in that work.
Yeah, just memorizing shit. So
catches in year 2.
2 to 22. That's
C3PO shit right there.
That's how much? That's a 2,000% increase.
It's good.
So I'm expecting a 2,000. But no, I think.
What would he need? This two catches, 22, and then 222 catches, or something crazy?
Something wild. I think if he ends up with however many catches, but around 400 yards, and I'd like to see 6 touchdowns. I know that's healthy or a lot, but I think 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and say, I don't know, 40 catches.
I think the catches is the key. Like, if he gets 40 to 60 catches,
I think that's
nice. Successful.
Yeah. But of course, if he scores, say, 6 touchdowns on 40 catches,
huge.
That's awesome. If he gets 45 catches and 3 touchdowns. That's sure he caught more, but weaker production in the end zone, which is I think where his bread and butter should come to play is in that red zone.
Favorable matches. He's not going to be double teamed ever. You know, he's never going to be double teamed. I kind of want to see a similar season of Seti the Any. Seti Wilson when he was kind of the third fiddle.
What was that?
I think Seti, I'm gonna try to stat boy this off the top of my head. I think he was like at 815 yards and like I think 6 touchdowns.
His last year? Okay.
Yeah, as the Cowboys.
This is at 45 reception. I mean, this is the stat line I want. 45 receptions, 602 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
That's perfect.
That is
remember how
really
happy,
good.
Remember how happy we were? We were like, man, Cedric Wilson, you have to retain him after the season.
Yeah.
When you look at it paper, you're like, oh, I mean, those are whatever. But 6 touchdowns on 45 catches, that's huge.
And we became fans of him that season.
Big fans.
So the catches he was making were significant.
Were touchdowns.
Catches.
Big plays. When he had the one-on-one. He's basically every 10 catches is scoring a touchdown and a half.
That's what you want out of your third.
That's what you want out of your
high
third.
catch to touchdown ratio, or higher than normal catch to touchdown ratio.
That's what we're looking for. I think that mirror that stat line.
I agree. I went a little too soft on him. But here, I guess I was just being like, if our third gets that,
that's good.
I mean, I'll take it, right?
What are you moving on? What stat line are you like, okay, he's not that dude. 20 catches again?
Yeah. If
in
he
that third spot.
30 catches, say 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, like that type of stat line.
He's going to get the football thrown at him.
He should.
Sorry, what was Gallup's stat line last year
that's a good question.
As the third fiddle on this team? Let's check out what
So Gallup last year had 34 receptions, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And this is the issue.
So if that is Tolbert's receptions,
you're moving on.
So I know I said 400. I'm going to walk it back.
But you also said that the most
touchdowns
touchdowns was the most important thing.
Yeah.
Your biggest thing was touchdowns. 2 touchdowns compared to 6.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. 4, actually, is the number of difference.
It is.
They call me Math Man.
But I'm also not penciling in Tolbert as the number 3 at this point anyways. I want a good competition. I'd love for a dude to take his spot, and I don't mean that because sorry. I don't like Tolbert.
That was an anthem.
I'm sorry you guys. I'm sorry you guys. I don't mean that because I don't like Tolbert. I just mean that because if someone comes in and takes his spot, it means they're that much better than him.
Yeah.
Boost
it up. Okay, what do we got at number 2?
So number 2 is Mozzie Smith.
See, I don't know about this one.
Me too, and I'm glad we're in the same boat because my question is, okay, I see where he's going for this, and let me just read a quick little
give us
his
clip.
reasoning. While nose tackles don't often go in round 1, the Cowboys added a player who was more than just a space eater. He has him way up here. The 337-pounder could move as well, and while it still couldn't have been called a reach in round 1, Dallas was at least going to solve their number 1 technical problem. In the end, this led to a wasted rookie campaign for Smith. Thankfully, he's moving back to his natural spot under Mike Zimmer. So he just mentioned that Quinn decided to ask him. They say Quinn decided to ask him to drop weight. We don't know if that's true or not. That's why I skipped that.
You're hearing conflicted info about that, so I don't know how true.
Regardless,
true
he did lose the weight.
He did. That's the fact.
Yeah.
Factual was he did lose the weight,
but he's now moving back to that more comfortable position under Mike Zimmer, and the Cowboys have no other proven nose tackles, meaning Smith has to get it done or they're going to be in trouble. So I think my biggest thing with pressure is it all depends on how someone actually reacts to that. So I don't know how Mozzie Smith is going to react to that. Some guys react really well. Like a guy like Ray Lewis, if you put him into a corner in a position where he was going to face adversity, I just believe he's going to figure out a way to get out of that corner. Does Mozzie Smith have that in him? I really hope so, but we haven't, like, this is going to be the test year. And the shitty thing is, there is no support. It's Mozzie Smith at DT right now.
Yeah, and he's the starter. He's in there. He's the starter. He's the guy from day one this season.
Yeah,
he had his red shirt season, and I get it. He played, but wasn't very useful. But I still disagree with this part of the article saying that it's a make or break year for him. he would have to have a very, very bad season for. There's no benefit of moving on from him, really.
Well, and there's context here that makes that true. He's a first-round pick, so you obviously saw something in him. If you believed he was a work-in-progress player, and that, then maybe this is just an unfortunate kind of how the cards fell, and now you're forcing him to go. Like, if he was going to be, say, awesome season 4, so we're still like 3 full seasons away from that. Is that something that you'd accept with a first-round pick? But he's going to be like
growing pains.
Stellar for 6 years. Okay, I'd accept that too. I wouldn't want the Cowboys to bet his career on this season.
On 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of people in chat last year saying that the Cowboys in 2023 essentially drafted for the future. So if that was your case with Mozzie Smith, you need to give him time to develop. Again, it's going to be his first. Oh. Crack him if you got him, son. We're just having a good time on this Wednesday night.
Get into it.
The Crackums are flowing, and we're feeling good. But if your whole plan was to draft Mozzie for the future, he needs more than 2 years. You also hear a lot of people that say defensive tackle is one of the hardest positions to play in the NFL, to go in there right away, and to do it undersized makes it even harder. Man, we got Bot G.
There he is.
With the epic 1999 super chat. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Got to make you understand, never going to give you up, never going to let you down, never going to run around and desert you.
Did we just get Rick rolled?
We got Rick rolled. Did we just copyright ourselves by singing it so damn good?
Hey,
Bot G, you are the goddamn man. We love you, brother, and we can't wait to see you multiple times this season, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Definitely hope that. Bot G, feeling good tonight on this Wednesday night main event.
But yes, to go back to Mozzie Smith and to wrap it up, I think if the Cowboys went on him believing that he was this player who was going to work out, but we needed to put a few years of effort into sculpting him, then it would be really silly for them to consider this make or break when the pressure's high and he might not. And also, do you kind of consider his last season, if he was playing out of position a little bit, as like a test? It didn't work out, and now this is like our first real test of what Mozzie Smith could be? Because that's kind of how I'm looking at it. From what I've read, I've always just known it as defensive tackle.
Yeah.
But there is defensive tackle, nose tackle. And I never really knew what the big difference was, but essentially it's the same as having a rushing defensive end and a blocking defensive end.
Like Osa is essentially like well, they call it the 1 tech and the 3 tech, right? And I guess like we're still learning this shit.
We're still learning.
We're
getting better.
But it's making more sense to me now.
Yeah.
Like to me, I didn't know at the same time you had a 1 tech and a 3 tech on the field. I thought there was either one or the other, but you have one side of your defense a 1 tech and the other usually is the 3 tech. Just one's lining up between different spots. So it's making more sense to me. And I guess Mozzie was out of place last year and underweight. So it's going to be interesting. Boots with the you guys booshed it.
We booshed it.
Okay, number 3 on the list.
We know who that is.
Yeah.
Sammy Dubs.
The man in the picture, Sam Williams, edge.
Tie your shoes, Sammy Dubs. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, you're tall and you're athletic and strong, man. But
Walking
like nobody can. Eventually, you walk around with your shoelaces untied long enough. And this isn't a metaphor. We met Sam Williams last season, and when we went and talked to him, AJ noticed that he was walking around with his shoes untied, like very long laces. You walk around long enough with your shoes untied, you will trip.
You will.
And you don't know if that's going to be a broken ankle or a broken wrist, or you just face plant and take out your chiclets.
I almost wanted to bend down and tie his shoes for him.
That would have been fucking hilarious.
You want me to get this big guy? I got it for you.
That would have been damn funny if you did that.
This one also, though, with Sam Williams, I do think it's now like we got to see something.
Yep.
This is his opportunity. I like him a lot. I really, even though he had some bonehead penalties, and they're not necessarily bonehead, but they were not smart. They weren't like, he wasn't being very thoughtful when he got these penalties last year on the special teams. I think he got 2 or 3.
And like key spots.
Key spots. However, that effort was awesome. Like, I believe he was like, I'm not getting enough playing time. You're going to play me on special teams, or I'm going to make some waves. And unfortunately, he was like a half second too late for some of those plays.
Oh, it's just at first I thought I was drinking yours because
Oh.
I'm in now the
Oh, you
Saved by the
switched
Bell.
them.
Yeah, well I had them doubled up.
Cheerio.
So I drank it. I was like, did I just grab AJ's beer?
That's such a manning the ship move to double up and just get two over there.
That's
Ad's move. Yeah.
Well, yeah, when I was over here and when me and Ad were banding it, we just had our 3.
Oh yeah.
So then I never had to toss them. I didn't have to do it. You're the cooler quarterback.
I gotta be practicing.
You're the cooler quarterback. I
I'm
wasn't
cooler QB.
I wasn't trying to take your job.
Coolio QB. But yeah, Williams, love him. Want him to get a second contract because I think that he's got a lot of hustle and but he needs to get the time out there and he's going to get it this season, I think. You know,
Well,
who's in front of him?
And that's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing for Sam Williams right now is he doesn't really have any competition. So it's, again, if he doesn't show up, unlike Jalen Tolbert, I think it's harder to find an edge than it is a wide receiver. Like, even if Sam Williams has a so-so season, I still think he's around for another season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, yes. I mean, for me, if the guy's even got a 50-50 chance, you eat up that rookie contract with him.
Totally.
Until you feel like, or you've got another dude who's going to be on a rookie contract for a couple years longer.
Nealand.
You need that space. Well, that's the only competition.
I also think I think Nealand's more in competition with or backing up. Like, I feel like Sam Williams is going to be kind of backing up Micah, and then Nealand's going to be backing up D-Law.
But if Nealand has that double-edged sword where he can block and he can rush and he can do both above average, or one of them's like his main thing that he can do well, but he can do both above average. I mean, we could see a rotation of Williams and Nealand for D-Law when D-Law decides to hang up the cleats, and that could
Which would be good.
Yeah.
You know, you get the one guy you get Nealand, like you said, is a pretty good body for the run game. You get him on early downs and then put in a little Sam Williams on passing downs.
And who left? It was Fowler
and Dorrance Armstrong.
So there is 2 spots to be filled. Williams was playing, but he was playing at quite a lower rate. I believe it was like maybe 10% or 20% of the snaps, and even that seems like a little high. But anyways, there is snaps to be filled basically, and
definitely.
So he's going to get his opportunity.
We're excited for it,
and about time. And if he has that same hustle that he puts out there on the special teams, and we see that develop into just some quality pressure, gets a couple extra sacks. I mean, he ends the season with, say, 3 sacks, I don't know, 15 to 19 pressures. You excited about that?
No.
What do you want?
Well, okay, that all depends on snap count too, though.
That's what I mean. Like, let's say he's getting 30%.
I'll have to revisit that. I'm hoping Sam. I think Sam Williams, with the amount of playtime that I think he's going to be exposed to this year, I think his floor is probably 3 sacks, and I think his ceiling could be as high as 10.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So I think if he flirts in between there somewhere, like 5 or 6, I would be happy.
Let's have a quick look.
I think 3 is probably his floor for me, because I'm almost positive he's had close to that, if not that, in one of his first 2 seasons.
What I'm just looking up quickly is the sacks of who left. Let's see. Dorrance Armstrong, 7.5 sacks.
Yep.
And Fowler, 4 sacks.
Yeah, see, so that kind of falls in between that floor and ceiling, that 3 and 10, right? So if
that's 2023, is about,
what did Sam Williams have there?
Sam Williams had 4.5.
See, so I'm thinking his
okay.
Like,
I was way under.
That's why he had in his limited amount of snaps, he produced. So
yeah, that's true.
His absolute worst. And what did he have in 2022?
Let's see.
I'm interested in that. I think he had around the same. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. 2022 season, he had 4 sacks.
So, I mean, at this point, you almost got to call that his floor.
Yeah.
You got to call 4 sacks
right.
his floor.
I think now it's 6.
Yes. 6 would be
5.5. 5.5.
Floor? Or you're thinking his
I think his floor, we should, if he's moving in to kind of replace Armstrong.
Air it up.
Then I think if he's replacing Armstrong, then it should be 6 should be what he gets.
I like that. Is what he's going to get, you think? Or
I think that would be, like, for me, a floor where I'm happy, because if he was getting 4.5 last year and Armstrong got 7.5, then he should technically get 8.
Yeah.
If he's keeping his
Totally.
same rate of excellence.
So we're gonna say his floor is 6, his ceiling's 11. How about
Ceiling's
that?
11.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that for Sam Williams. I like that, Sam. Hey, Sam! Where's my camera? I can't see it. Sam! I hope you get 14.
Tie your shoes, boy. Tie your shoes.
Tie your shoes, man. You don't want
We
to trip.
love you. Hey, Sam, I promise you this. You go out there, and if by week 12, we go down to Dallas Cowboys, home game on Thanksgiving, if you're
Against the Giants.
if you're above 6 sacks,
I'll get a tattoo of you.
I'm buying your jersey.
Okay, maybe I'll just say that.
Yeah. What do you get?
You know what? Hey, I said it already.
You said it.
I
Get
said it
that
already.
tattoo.
If Sam Williams has more than 6 tattoos by Thanksgiving, I'll get like a character tattoo of
6 touchdowns.
or I'll just get 54 on my leg.
Or 6 sacks. I mean, what am I saying?
Did I? Yeah.
You said tattoos. I said touchdowns.
I said 6 tattoos. I swear we've only had 2. We're only on our second drink.
We're only
guys.
on our second.
Okay, what do we got up next?
Well, what I just want to do is throw to chat real quick. Is there and
Right.
we can chat too.
Yes.
Who else should be on this list, or who else do you feel is like make or break for this 2024 season? It could be anyone. Hell, probably someone's going to say Dak Prescott. Someone might even say CeeDee Lamb. I mean, we are Cowboys Nation.
It could be anyone, really. Like, CD's a little over the top, but like even a Dak Prescott make or break, like if it happens again that they make the wild card or the divisional and they lose the first game,
Yeah.
at some point you do have to say, okay, this isn't working out. And at some point, I know it's the ultimate team game, football is, but at some point you have to try something different, right?
Yes, and
Unless they sign him for a record-breaking $60 million deal.
I'll give you one that I think is it doesn't work because he's already off the team, but Curse would have been a good one this year,
He would have been good.
right? Love the dude, but he had that up. And oh, you said it, Steele.
Yeah, Terrence Steele for me is kind of...
Terrence Steele, I think, is awesome.
Because it's not one that's going to come up much because he's a mainstay. He is starting at right tackle.
We don't have the replacement.
You don't have the replacement.
Even a glimpse of a replacement right now.
No, so but if he has the kind of year that he had last year, you got to start thinking that it's time to move on, or at least draft his replacement the following offseason.
Yeah, if he has the same season as he did in 2023, then in the 2025 draft for the Dallas Cowboys round 1, we are trading back and we're drafting another tackle.
You have to. I hate to say it, but you have to.
I don't hate it, man. I don't hate it.
You have to. But in a perfect world, he plays.
He performs
decent. I'm not saying has an all-pro season, but like, you know, he's somewhere between light yellow and light blue on the PFF scale.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Somewhere in between there, like between like 75 and, 80, or I'll even say 70 and 80. If he's somewhere between that on the PFF scale. Now you don't have to worry about your offensive line in the draft, right? You can target someone like, BPA, right?
Yeah.
I get it that some people, we do think that they might have went BPA even with what they did this year, but BPA, say in the 20s, hopefully at 32 we're picking, which means we won the Super Bowl. You could just take whoever the best player there because your line's short up. So
Yeah,
I hope Steele has a good season. Chat, we don't got much going on in chat right now, but we got Travis O'Shea saying from earlier that he would teach us about the 1 tech and the 3 tech on defense.
Actually, you know what, Travis? In the offseason here, if we get a chance, we'll have you on and you can be
We would love to.
Teacher O'Shea, and you can teach us some of that.
Mr. O'Shea, tell us about it.
This is one that if you're a listener of the Can Fan podcast, you're going to be like, damn, Al, get off his nuts. But I will not. I think Deuce Vaughn, too, has his biggest opportunity. Because, look, if the guy does nothing this season and he's taking up a roster spot, this is more of just based on that. It's like you need to cut him loose. Maybe he can find a resurgence on another team somewhere. But if he's not contributing, there are other guys that we need to start focusing on in that position. And like what Turpin can provide, because he's going to be staying on the squad. Eventually speed runs out, but if he's providing the same type of speed burst we're looking for that Deuce can and shiftiness, then that's the better place to spend that roster spot on, because he's already on for a punt return and kick return.
Well, that was one of our biggest questions with the Deuce Vaughn draft pick I thought Turpin was kind of that guy that you're looking for. Now you have Deuce Vaughn playing in the slot, so it even makes it a little bit weirder. But you got Bot G in the chat saying, you knew we'll have an all-pro season. Cowboys Can Fan. Training camp, possible preseason game, San Francisco Turkey Day game, and we are hoping first playoff game. Playoffs for the Cowboys Fan Crew and Bot G. Like, I hope we can, I would love to hit a playoff game this year. And we were seriously thinking about it, and we were making plans last year. We were already kind of looking past Green Bay. We're like, okay, we'll cruise through Green Bay and then decide what prices are, who we play. Are we going to play San Fran in the division, or sorry, in the conference championship? Remember, we were kind of like, we were sorting through. I was like, I don't want to spend the money to go to the wild card round if we could go see a conference championship, and that's where we are obviously stupid.
And I'm glad we did not.
Yes, totally,
For our own insanity.
But
I might still be locked up in a cell in Green Bay right now. I don't know what that would look like.
AJ stabbed someone. Bot G is saying Deuce would contribute to any team in the UFL.
Hey, and you know what? If he can find a resurgence there and make his way back, I'd be happy for him. I'm just saying, not hoping for anything more than, like, if he surprises me and changes my opinion, then I think that's a good thing. Not that I'm the telltale of what success is, but I've just had he's been a thorn in my personal side since I had
a vendetta on him.
Yeah, since I had to buy his jersey because he made it to the team.
You did give it away though.
Did give it away, and that was fun.
Check it out on our YouTube.
Check it out on our YouTube. The next thing I think, well, we got 3 options. We're not gonna get through all of these, so
rally it.
We're gonna let you pick or however it works. But we got the 3 options are why QB Dak Prescott believes Dallas Cowboys can win with so-called lesser roster. I
still don't know if they do have a lesser roster, honestly.
I think it's just like
clickbait.
Someone's looking to write an article.
It's clickbaity.
It's clickbaity. There is no question that the wide receiver position continues to stay deep in the NFL, and this is regarding CeeDee Lamb's contract. And they don't agree with it necessarily, but the writer of that article was presenting an argument for not re-signing CeeDee Lamb.
That could be interesting.
And then the third one here is NFL economics. Why waiting to pay Dak Prescott is not costing the Dallas Cowboys more cap space.
I like those two. I like the CeeDee Lamb one, and I like the.
Let's do those ones.
Yeah, I like those two. Those are.
And they're both blogging the boys, baby.
Blogging the boys, you dirty little sluts. You always roll us in with these little titles. I tell you, you always just roll us on in with these little titles. That you don't you? Continued influx of top level wide receivers, worth considering when thinking about paying one.
So, long story short, what they're saying is we're seeing a influx of quality wide receivers coming from the college football game consistently, and that the opportunity to find someone, and we've talked about this before, that like it's easier to find a wide receiver replacement, not necessarily someone of CeeDee's caliber, but just a competent wide receiver than it is compared to other positions in the NFL, like quarterback, for example, obviously. So that's what this is kind of hinting on, is there's a lot of people who are, a lot of wide receivers who come into the league who are competent, especially recently, and that there is an opportunity that you could find a guy if he's there.
Why is that, you think?
Well, first of all, I think the sports have started to make a shift towards pushing offense, and they'll do it under the guise, and it probably has some scientific backing to it, but they do it under the guise of safety, and that's why they're eliminating a lot of rules. But the hunch, obviously, is higher scoring games or more exciting games draw more casual fans to watch. So I think that's part of it, is that the rules have changed to benefit wide receivers, which allows them to be more studs.
They almost have like a one-up already.
Yeah. Then there's also the acceleration of media. So you're seeing these young guys make explosive plays. And I think like the combination of that, and plus just like market, like I guess the value of the wide receiver position is way up. Think about this. And we were talking about Ayuk, Brandon Ayuk. CMC signs a $19 million contract. I think that's average per year, something like that. He's a wide receiver, he's a running back. Brandon Ayuk is looking for something in the $30 million range. And
who's more important to that team?
But CMC caught, I think, 6 or 8 less catches than Ayuk did last year. So there's the difference in that market. That's wild.
That's crazy. Because who's more important to that team?
Well, how is CMC not worth $30 million?
That's what I mean. So CMC's head head over shoulders more important than Ayuk.
Yeah.
In my mind.
But
I don't care that running, and it all is because, oh, well, running back's so devalued. So Christian McCaffrey's contract's the highest of any running back, but that's the cap of it. And then you got Ayuk, who's asking for $30 million, and he's what? Maybe top 8 wide receivers in the NFL?
Oh, yeah.
He's good.
He's up there, but
Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in the NFL.
And it's not just that he's a running back. He only had 6 less catches.
That's insane to me.
I
just don't understand that. If I'm the San Fran,
but that's the market, man.
It's the market, and that's if I'm San Fran, I'm trading for him for a 3rd round pick if I could get it. To be honest, I'm trading him for a 3rd round pick, maybe even a 4th round pick, because I think, and you just said yourself that wide receivers are even easier to find, like one that can get into an offense like that and contribute, than the best running back in the NFL.
Yes,
that catches just as well as he runs the ball.
And it's going to be harder again to find a person who can play like CMC, running back who can play like CMC, than it is going to be to find a wide receiver who can go out there and catch a football. You don't need them to necessarily replicate exactly the same skill level. It's just, it's easier because the rules are easier for offensive players for you to get, say, within 80% of that. And then that's good enough. CMC is so on such a level higher than, say, the average running back in the NFL.
100%.
Right? And we see great wide receivers. Here's the breakdown, though. So over the, I think how many years? Sorry, 1 sec. Since 2020.
Okay.
They've broken down second team and first team.
Okay.
What is that, all pro?
Yeah, that's all pros.
All pros?
Yeah.
And this is what they've come down to. 12 of those all pros were on their rookie contract season. 8 of them were on their first or second year veteran with a new team, so their second contract. And 6 of them were third or more year.
Okay.
So essentially what it's breaking down to say is those first 5 years with your wide receiver is where you get your biggest bang for your buck.
Yep. And it makes sense. Like, for a team, that's what you want.
Now, they do go on to say here, though, a guy like Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill, who are outstanding wide receivers, they did show up on the list. They were part of this first and second and third year.
The eight and the 6.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but that's,
I think CeeDee Lamb's in that category.
They're the outlier. Like, they're not the rule.
That's not the rule. No,
The rules, you're gonna have you have a better chance of having an all-pro on his rookie contract. If he goes to a different team, he's not gonna have the same success, or he's not even have the same success in his second contract. What is interesting, though, if the rookie is 12 and then the first or second year veteran with a new team is 8, I mean, you're still getting around, out of those guys that hit all-pro, you're still batting around, what is that, 75%?
Yeah, it's not terrible.
It's not awful.
It's just
not even 77%. It's a little less than that. It's like 30 or 66%.
But if I told you there was 8 out of 12 chance that this guy is going to produce like he did and be an all-pro, like, you'd sign him. I mean, you'd be silly. But the difference...
The stat says you have to, honestly.
Absolutely. But the difference is one guy's costing you whatever, $2, $3, $4 million a year. The other guy's costing you $25, $30, $35 million a year now. So
it's
that's
wild.
where that big difference comes. Now, all this in a nutshell, they were not making an argument to say Cowboys should not sign. I want to make that very clear. They were not saying the Cowboys should not. They were simply doing what you should do. And anytime you're trying to argue something, you build the best case against what you think, and then you break it down. So in this case, all of that makes sense, but it's just CeeDee Lamb is in another level. He's in another level. He's not old.
No.
He's in his... If he just repeats what he did for the next 3 seasons, if he repeats what he did last year for the next 3 seasons, that's a $30 million.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
I feel like...
Stamp his check, write his check, give him free salt for life, give him a McGriddle. I don't care what you do, get him on the team.
If we were like the it's the Rams, who had Cooper Kupp, and then Puka Nacua shows up. Okay, maybe now Cooper Kupp becomes a little bit more, we don't need to pay him $20 million. We see our future here. I'm not saying that Cooper Kupp's asking for that amount, but just if Tolbert, for example, was like a Puka Nacua.
Yeah,
and
if
had
Tolbert
that-
comes
yeah,
out and
yeah.
has, well, the shitty.
Well, he's on his.
How funny would that be? Because right now the Cowboys are going to pay CeeDee Lamb. Like, it's going to happen. They're going to pay him a lot of money. Imagine Tolbert comes out and has a better season than CeeDee Lamb this season.
I mean,
It's not out. I mean, it's not out of the question. The only difference, I guess, with Puka Nacua, he was a rookie.
he was a pure rookie.
He's a pure rookie, right? But could you imagine?
It's exactly what the Cowboys need. Another contract, another big money contract, and a guy who they're not going to trade. So it's either pay him or let him walk and don't get nothing for him. That's exactly what we need.
That's such a terrible. That's probably the worst situation to be in with a player. Pay him or let him go for, no, you're not going to trade him.
Yeah.
You're not. It's either pay him or trade him, and nobody wants him, so you got to let him go. That's such a terrible situation to be in.
And if I was in Madden, it would all depend because you could drop a guy because it's fun to bring in new draft picks and then sim the next 5 years in about 30 minutes. I don't want to wait.
5 seasons.
I don't want to wait 5 seasons. Okay, in real life, it's fun in a video game.
Because it's 30 minutes of your life.
30 minutes of my life, and I'm probably
Fan will be in year 8.
Yeah. And then we see, this is our guy. We go. That's the problem.
I want to sim Fan seasons.
Oh, me too. Just our views up, down, up,
just
down,
to, just to see us in year 8.
But at the end of the day, when with CeeDee Lamb, what it comes down to is he's too valuable to not pay him what the market is asking.
So this article was supposed to be arguing against signing CeeDee Lamb, but it's made me want to sign him.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I think it's
like I'm gambling on that 66%.
Yeah, no, that or 50% even if you look at the third year value.
Yeah, even if you get to his third contract and he has a 50% chance of still being an All-Pro, that's in another 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh right? Yeah. So he could be this 8. Like he could be this 8 number. You got a 66% chance of him still being an All-Pro, just judging by guys that have done it, and then a 50% chance of him doing it in his next contract.
Yeah, my hunch.
I don't think that's that bad.
My hunch with Lamb, I don't even think that he's reached his full potential yet. I think he reached it midway through last year. We haven't seen a full season of it. He had like a 5 or 6 game stretch where he was just so good. Remember? Oh yeah.
He had like like mid-season, like before that stretch of like Buffalo and Miami and stuff. But there was like kind of wasn't great his first 5 games, and then he was like the next 5 to 7 games or whatever it was. Him and Dak were like he was averaging like 120 yards a game,
touchdowns,
like over 100 yards and a touchdown a game.
Yeah,
like if you do that for a full season, if you're averaging 120 yards a game. Over 10 catches and a touchdown.
That's 2,000.
It's going to be 2,000 yards. It's going to be almost 20 touchdowns, and it's going to be a shitload of catches. Toss me one, son.
Final thing I want to say about the Laminator himself.
The Laminator.
Sedarius.
How has that never been said before?
Sedarius the Laminator.
Sedarius the Laminator.
I think that this season is going to be his best season of his career. I think he's going to come in hard, and with or without a new contract, and God help us if he has the season I think he's going to have, and they don't sign him because he's going to be untouchable.
Well, and that's the risk about it, right? Like, so say they don't sign it, and they do end up letting him play, and he does go out and has a better year.
He has no. I don't believe that he wouldn't play as hard as he can if he did, whether or not he had a contract or not. But talk about motivation for a player if they are in that position that he is, where it's like, okay, fine, don't sign me. I'm going to go out. I'm going to light it up. I'm going to get 2,000 yards. I'm going to get 130 catches. I'm going to give you 14 touchdowns.
And then I'm going to go play with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. And then I'm shipping my talents out to KC to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think there's a chance that he does play without a contract? Like, do you think if they didn't have a contract figured out, do you think he actually goes out and plays?
I think between CeeDee Lamb and Dak, I think it's more likely Dak doesn't sign a new contract. If I'm comparing, I think they both do.
Okay.
But I think Dak doesn't sign, and they would sign Sedarius. And then with the backroom conversation, I would hope, where they're like, hey, we got you, Dak. Don't worry. We need to get to the next. We basically need to get to understand what the next salary cap is going to be, and then we're going to, before anything starts moving, before we get to the draft, we're going to have that deal done. I don't wish it's that way, but I can see them doing it that just because it's probably going to be easier to negotiate with Dak if Dak is quote unquote the captain and he's been working closely with management and they've probably been having these conversations that we're not privy to. Whereas Sidarius is more of that weapon. Not to say that he's not a leader in that locker room, but he's more of a weapon, and he's going to be just like, look, you sign him, he's the skilled player. Dak might say, for the benefit of the team, I'm not going to say this in public, but I'll take the $55 million this year, and we'll make our deal next year. I could see that happening, and it's all based on how they work the books and shit like that. But I'd prefer that they both get signed.
I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised CeeDee hasn't been signed yet, to be honest. Crack him if you got him, son.
Yeah,
we're getting it. We're having a good time here.
Last thing about CeeDee for myself, it's the guaranteed cash. It's the guaranteed cash that they're kicking around, and I bet you it's $5 million. It's between $5 million.
No, just give it to
it's
him.
something so fucking
minuscule. Like, just give it to him.
Yeah. And here's the thing, it's like he's not had, knock on wood, and I almost don't want to say it, but he's not had a season where he's been kept off the field for a long time. Yeah. So it's not like that way I'd be like, okay, yeah, you do want to pull back on guaranteed. If the guy has Justin Jefferson, for example.
Last season. He was hurt quite a bit.
I'd be like, okay, I think I'd rather put $5 million extra on your contract and take $5 million off guaranteed, or put $10 million extra and take $5 million off, because sure, if you play the season, who gives a shit? It's chump change. But if you don't play and you get a big injury and your skill drops, and now we're on the books for the next 2 or 3 seasons, okay, that's too big of a risk but CeeDee doesn't have that.
See, he has no blemishes, and he's going into his fifth year with the Cowboys?
5th season.
Which, I mean, the Cowboys are messing it up. Like, you draft these dudes, but if they've showed it in their first 4 years, pay them, man, pay them.
Well, we're going from one headache to the other. I think,
Stephen Jones.
I didn't shout out that the writer of this last one. It was RJ Ochoa.
RJ Ochoa doing his damn thing.
I like to see what he has to say.
I like RJ.
What I like about RJ is he doesn't know me, but sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. But I still like to go and see his opinion.
You know what I like about RJ?
He's straight up with his opinion. He's not inflammatory. He's not trying to just get people to respond. He's honest with it.
He's just doing his honest thing. I like RJ for the fact that RJ is kind of like BJ's, and everyone loves a BJ. A booster juice, great drinks in the morning.
Booster juice, great drinks. I like an RJ.
Like an RJ drink, a strawberry RJ. A strawberry.
A strawberry. I love a good strawberry.
That'd be your name if you were booster juice.
Strawberry.
Stray Jerry.
But. Here's on to our next role. NFL economics, why waiting to pay Dak Prescott is not costing the Dallas Cowboys cap space. And give me a quick second.
I agree with this a little bit just from the get-go. And you got Dan Rogers, very, very vanilla name. And I don't just mean because he's probably a white guy, but it's just Dan Rogers, 2 first names.
He could be a pirate for all we know.
Dan Rogers.
So
and Rogers without a D in it. Like if you spell Roger, do you usually put a D? Or
I always think of that. Yeah, but
maybe he's Rogers.
I think that's more common, to be honest.
With no D.
With no D, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know but I always like Dodgers, Rogers.
Dan Rogers. Rogers.
So he's got a nice little start off here. Why are the Cowboys waiting so long to pay Dak Prescott? Almost every Cowboys fan. Real quick, though, before we hop into this, because basically I went to ChatGPT. I got a nice breakdown so we can summarize as we move through.
Nice.
Just because it's a lot, and it's a really well-written article, but I just don't want to sit in here.
Oh, so you copied that and put it into
Put it in.
ChatGPT.
I said, summarize this for me.
Nice.
Yeah, doggy. But it's got a lot of the same things. I don't know if you... we talked about this before the episode, but I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 shows ago, we briefly touched on some salary cap information, and I'd gone through and tried to make some charts for. I didn't really know where the conversation was going, but I thought it was kind of.
You were crunching numbers.
I was crunching numbers. I thought it was interesting. It's like, this is some interesting shit. Well, what Rogers did here, and bless his little heart, is he took. I'm not saying that he even watched our show, but he might have watched our show. But he took kind of that whole concept of like, well, what does it mean? Because we've had this conversation with quarterbacks. That and Dak Prescott's been part of it quite a bit. Obviously, we're Cowboys fans, but you sign a player and then on a deal that looks, what the hell are you doing? And then 2 years later, it's like, oh, we got one of the better deals in the NFL, and that's basically what this breaks down. It breaks down the salary cap growth. It breaks down how much of a percentage a quarterback, a top tier quarterback, gets paid out of that salary cap.
It's exactly what
and
you
then
did
and then it shows you this is the expected value. So the salary cap on average increases, and just looking at this chart here, you can see it's outside of the COVID years. It's a pretty straight line. They compensated in 2022 and 2023, I believe, by increasing the cap more than typical. But typically, since being recorded, it's been about a 7% increase each year, roughly.
Yeah, and it's like if you look at the last 4 seasons there, it's basically half a square. And what's a square?
50 million.
50 million? So
yeah.
What, 25 million a year?
Exactly. But 7%, as it gets bigger and bigger, that 7% gets larger, 30 million,
yeah,
35.
Larger and larger.
Yeah, larger and larger. So you get more and more. Then the next spot here is just showing you salary cap by year. And for audio listeners, what we're looking at is a diagram that basically shows it's a chart, basically shows the year at the bottom and the salary cap on the left-hand side. And it's a pretty solid diagonal line. Like I said, the cap moves up about 7% each season.
Damn.
So what is that?
That's going to be crazy then.
Right. And what does that mean? Well, they take Joe Burrow. They take Jerry Burrow. Joe Burrows, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. They take their contracts, they break them down out of the cap space, because these guys are all signed from 2023 to 2027. Not necessarily that's their contract length, but they are signed through those seasons. And they break it down like this. It's their total quarterback contract and the cap percentage of the total cap space. Joe Burrow over those seasons, 2023 to 2027, is about 20%. Herbert, 19%. Lamar Jackson, 19%. And Jalen Hurts, 19%. So there you can see we're looking at, say, 19% as how much a quarterback should eat up. I think we're getting through this really nicely.
So right now,
yep.
And I'm sure that I think this is what your next one is. That 19% for Dak's upcoming contract.
What would it be?
If it was coming up, that would be putting him right around like 50 million.
Absolutely.
Right?
So they go on to explain. So, they just show the average annual value is anywhere between Hurts, the lowest, at $55 million per year, and Joe Burrow at $59.5 million a year. That's the equivalent contract if Dak was to sign it this season through to 2028.
Yeah, 2024 to 2028. Interesting.
And that's like, the average is. So we're talking about $4 million difference a year. When the cap space is increasing by 7% or $50+ million a year.
So realistically, if they could sign Dak Prescott for $50 million, he'd be a
steal,
a bargain.
Yeah, and the more
and you have fans losing their brains about that.
Well, the more realistic signing for Dak would be probably $60 million or $59 million.
Because it has to adjust for, and his agents are. You don't think they're looking at these?
Oh, if we did, not we. If
well, you did.
We did. We looked at it. But if we're doing this, if we're thinking about this shit, you damn well know the agents already have AI software or whatever set up. And then finally, the last thing that I think just goes to show you is the QB cost per year. So this is the projected annual average salaries of franchise quarterbacks that would provide their team the same level of purchasing power from year to year. So from 2024, it's $59 million. 2025, $64 million. 2026, $68 million. And 2027, I'll stop there, $72 million. You can see we're going up about $4 million each year. So
wow,
it's not wild to pay Dak Prescott $60 million this year. Is it overpaid? Or 55, $50 million?
Dak said he doesn't play football for money.
Yeah. Well, it's just, this is the amount of cash that if you don't believe Dak Prescott is a top tier QB, then okay, you've got an argument there, and I want to hear it. But otherwise, if you think that he is the dude, we're not really overpaying him. It might not feel good because it's the last season. And also, if he ends up signing a $60 million a year contract, in 2 years, it's going to turn out to be, again, a deal. You do want to get him as long as possible, though. You don't want a 4-year deal, I don't think.
But I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's what teams want to do, the 5, 6, 7-year deals, because they can spread it out and, kind of get themselves out. But if Dak Prescott and his team did that for his second contract, like usually your second contract, you'll get guys going for that 5, 6 year kind of thing. They didn't want anything more than a 4-year deal because they wanted this situation where he's 30 years old. They bet on him basically saying, hey, we only want to do a 4-year deal at $40 million a season, but he's then going to be in 4 years. Like, again, they're looking at the 7 percentage instead of Dak Prescott making $40 million or $42 million year 5 next year. They knew he was going to be a $20 million increase just by looking at these charts.
Yeah, and I think every quarterback wants a final two-year deal when they're in 34, 36, whatever.
With a second team usually.
Yeah.
Give me 75% of what the other guys are getting. I just want a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
75%. Give me in what 3 years that's going to be a $250 million.
Yeah,
it feels like.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing though, just to bring light to it. This is Dak's final big contract year. Like unless he signs a 1-year deal somewhere else and whatever. But this is basically, this next contract is going to bring him to that final 2-year stage. The kind of where, say, Aaron Rodgers is right now. Where is he might hang out the cleats after next season, or maybe he hangs around for another season. But, we're getting close to the end. Dak's not in that place, and that's why I agree with you. I think his agents and him himself too is like, give me 4 years so I have more argument. And it makes sense, honestly, with the way that the market is adjusting. And sorry, one last thing. The other thing, which I'll look up in a second here, is they'll also take into consideration when those new streaming contracts are signed, because it's going to then come onto a new CBA.
More money.
And then it's like, okay, well, if the deal's sweeter, then, that can affect the contract that you're going to sign with them, because if the NFL's making more money, the teams are making more money, you're going to be like, fine, I want more money.
Players are trickling down. The craziest thing is this is going to just talk about streaming rights, basically. But in Canada, I used to hate DAZN. I used to hate it. But in Canada, we almost have it the best now. You pay for one streaming service, DAZN, which I think's, I don't know, maybe $25 a month, which is 20 USD roughly.
Yeah.
You get all the games. You literally get every single game. You don't have to worry about Amazon or Netflix or whoever streaming it on DAZN. DAZN will get you every single game. Do I know how long that's going to last? No. But I used to hate DAZN, and now I'm like, wow, we got the best deal.
So even the Amazon.
Yeah, Prime,
Oh, shit.
like Amazon Prime, the Thursday night games, you get them on DAZN.
That's
DAZN,
awesome.
you get every single game, no matter what it's streaming on.
Hey, I usually don't like the Canadian government regulating things, but in this case,
That was one of the ways.
worked out in the favor of Canadians.
It was literally like, because in the States, when I was down there about to fly down to Vegas, I tried to watch the Thursday Nighter on TV.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to find it on cable when we were in the hotel. And I was like, we got to get down to the hotel bar because Thursday night game's not on. They had it obviously playing in the hotel bar, but you could not find it on TV.
What was that meme? It was like to stream all of the Panthers games. If you wanted to watch every single Panthers game, you'd have to end up paying like $697 for the year.
And you can buy season tickets for less than
cheaper
that.
Yeah, something like it was just wild, baby.
That's fucking hilarious. Okay, guys, that was the Monday night main event with Bandwagon Boy 2. At least one of the Bandwagon Boys is here.
I'm
Antbest
representing.
here. I'm trying to hold the fort down. I got AJ Wingman and me here because we're gonna get it done. Adbest is somewhere over the Pacific right now, and he's not streaming us, unfortunately. Probably.
No.
He'll
watch this.
He'll watch it. You know he's gonna be like, did they mess it up? Did they do this? Did they do that? He's gonna critique us. We will be back on Sunday for our Sunday service. And if you know somebody who does not like the Cowboys out there, I want you to go ahead and tell them to go fuck themselves!
Woo! Crack me if you got him, baby.